So, hello everyone, myself Dr. Pitanshu Ranjan. I am Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department in BITS Pilani, Goa campus. My active area of research is incompressible fluid mechanics. Okay, so which basically involve understandings of fluid flow. And when I say fluid, fluid basically comprises of both liquid and gaseous state of matter. Okay, so when I say understanding of fluid mechanics using computers, of course, computers. So, and how computers is like using different numerical techniques, using computer to solve different kinds of flow field. For example, cricket ball moving in an air, ships moving in water. Okay, um, and flow inside pipes, ducts. Okay, like you have your AC ducts, right? So this all comes under incompressible fluid mechanics, basically, which will deal with fluid whose density doesn't vary much with temperature or pressure. Okay, so fluid can be anything. It can be liquid, it can be gas, it can be air, it can be water, it can be anything. And a body can move inside a fluid, or a fluid can move inside a duct. Both are currently I'm working on. If you have a fluid flow problem, let's say cricket ball, when a bowler bowls the ball, it swings, right? That problem, why it swings, are flow inside ducts. Okay, like your AC ducts. So how do you solve it? How do you understand it? Like what is happening over there? So what I do is I use mathematical techniques, which are called numerical techniques, to solve those things. Now, what are mathematical techniques? So mathematical technique is nothing but solving a sets of equations which basically governs the fluid flow. Now, when I say sets of equation which governs the fluid flow means, I'll give you an example. Let's take Newton's second law. Newton's second law states that force is equal to mass into acceleration. So what is the physical problem? Physical problem is if you apply a certain force onto a certain body of mass m, it will accelerate with a. That is what Newton's second law is. So basically F is equal to m into a is mathematical expression for a physical problem which deals with applying force onto a body of mass m, which accelerates with a, right? So similarly, when it comes to fluid mechanics or fluid flow, the physical problem is defined by a sets of mathematical equations, right? So these sets of equations are called in general Navier-Stokes equation. So Navier-Stokes equation basically governs the fluid flow. Okay. Navier-Stokes equation is nothing but differential equation which basically tells you the net amount of force which is experienced by one particular fluid particle, and when it experiences that particular force, then how it is moving. Okay, just like in fluid flow, there are n number of fluid particles. So if you can actually solve what is the amount of force is acting and how it is acting onto the fluid particle, then in general you can say that how those particles is going to move. Okay, so basically Navier-Stokes is nothing but Newton's second law in detail for a particular fluid flow problem. Okay, so now you have these sets of differential equation, right? So I have a problem and I have equations. Now how do you solve those equations? Once you solve those equations, you will get the answer to the problem, right? So like F is equal to ma is basically an algebraic relation. Okay, so algebraic relation is basically in terms of x and y. So let's say 2x plus 5y is equal to 10, and similarly other equation you can solve for x and y using matrix, right? But these are differential equation, and to solve differential equation you need integration. So if you want to solve a differential equation, you have to integrate it. But what happens is majority of the time these differential equations are not integrable. We cannot directly integrate it. So if we cannot directly integrate it, then what we do is we interpolate stuff. We try and assume a certain profile, right? I'll give you a very basic example. Let's say you have a circle, right? Normally this example you have studied, okay, a circle. So you can always divide a circle into very small pieces of lines. You can do it, right? Take very small piece of the circle, it will look like a line, right? Very small piece. Just same thing happens when we look our earth, right? It looks flat to us. Why? Because when it comes to the total curvature of the surface, we are not able to see it. So similarly, we can divide a circle or a sphere into small segments of flat lines, right? Same thing we do with differential equations when we try to solve it. So differential equations, we have differential equation, we cannot directly integrate it to solve it, right? So what we do is we assume certain profiles. We'll assume that certain thing varies parabolically or linearly or cubically. Okay, and once we assume it, like it varies cubically or quadratically or linearly, we can then we can of course integrate those stuffs, right? Because integration of dy by dx is with respect to x is, let's say dy by dx is equal to some constant, right? Okay, so if you integrate it, what you will get, y is a function of linear function of x. Okay, so that sort of thing. If certain differential is equal to 0, then that means that if you integrate it, it will give you a constant value. So those sort of assumptions we'll take is, what we'll do is we'll say that the particular variables vary linearly with certain other variable, and then we try to integrate it, right? So this type of interpolation, this type of assumption is basically called as using numerical techniques. Now, which assumption to use, which not to use, that will of course you will learn when you will do a subject. It's called numerical techniques, or numerical mathematical engineering, or sometimes we call it as a broad umbrella as computational fluid dynamics. Okay, so this basically involves problem, sets of differential equation, then using different assumption and interpolation to integrate those sets of differential equation. Once you integrate it, you will get the solution to the problem. That is how I try to solve my problem, right? Okay, now this is a very trivial question. When I was doing my graduation, I was very fascinated by my seniors who were working in those different industries. Okay, so what happens is, I went to ISC Bangalore, and there I saw certain fundamental problems which were tackled by group of researchers. So the problem which basically I hooked on to was small aircrafts, the fighter aircraft or the aircraft which is normally used for surveying, right? So I was fascinated by that. So small aircraft, what happens is, because the small aircraft, the engine is at the center, okay, and you have, like, if let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say this is an aircraft, so you have wings, right? Like this wings, okay. So the engine is here. To supply the air to the engine, the air is taken from this side, these two sides, from the wings, and it goes to the engine. What happens is, when the aircraft moves very fast, the air which is coming inside the ducts, it becomes very chaotic, very non-steady, non-uniform, you can say, right? And if that air goes to the engine, it can actually affect the engine. It can affect the compression cycle also. Okay, the compression part of the engine. It can actually hamper it or damage to the engine. Okay, so what they were trying to do is, they were trying to reduce that non-uniformity which is going inside the engine through a curved duct. The duct is curved. It's like when the air enters, it goes through a curvature, okay, like this, and it enters into the engine. So when you have a curvature, right, it imparts extra non-uniformity, extra chaoticness. Okay, so they're trying to reduce that thing using different techniques, and they're trying to analyze those things using different CFD techniques, mathematical techniques. Okay, so I got hooked onto it, and I was like, this is something new. Like, when you do a research, when you try and do something, you always come with different ideas, different conclusions, right? And that's where my journey started. I was like, I don't want to do job. I just want to do this kind of work, because I was too young to do job. I was like, what? When I did my graduation, I was 20, not even 21. Okay, so so I got fascinated with it, and I went for my post graduation. And luckily, I got a faculty who was working on the ducts part, how to reduce non-uniformity in curved ducts, which was pretty much similar to what was the actual problem which IISc Bangalore people were doing. So there I started using CFD, computational fluid dynamics. I started working on it. We devised certain small vortex generators are called, certain small stuff which we can put onto those ducts which can reduce the non-uniformity in it. And then after my post graduation I went for a PhD, because in my post graduation I was doing research. It's not like I'm not doing research, but I don't have the fundamental understanding of the chaoticness or of the non-uniformity in the flow field. I was reducing it. Like if I'm looking at as a result wise, I was able to see that the non-uniformity of the flow is been reduced. But how it has been reduced, what actually physical phenomena which is happening, which is reducing that particular thing, and why in the first place the non-uniformity exists, what happens when you do the curvature. These questions were in my mind. So I want to first my PhD to get a better understanding of the subject, the fluid mechanics, and a subsidiary of the subject is turbulent flow, basically, which has all the qualities which I just mentioned, right? So I want to work in turbulent flow area to understand the fundamental behind why a flow becomes turbulent, and if it becomes turbulent, then what you can do. Okay, the fundamental aspect of it. That is why I went into PhD. And that's it from my side. My contact detail will be shown on the video. Okay, my email ID will be there. Okay, you can always drop me an email if you want to understand about my area of research, which is fluid mechanics, incompressible, mathematical modeling. Okay, these sort of area. Okay, and I'll be happy to help you people out, and I genuinely hope, like, I might be able to push some great innovative minds in doing some research. Okay, some very good intelligent people have far more resources. So if you will do research, I know for sure that will give much more to the society, much more to the science and engineering community. Okay, so all the best.